Hi, I'm going to do a video for the Ekowool, how to set it up in a stainless steel mesh along with 28 gauge, set it at 1 ohm, spot on every time. I'm going to do it on a Kraken. Um, I got this, and so I'm going to tear this one down completely, even though it's pretty decent wick still in it. I'm going to do a complete tear down and show how it's actually done. It'll be a really easy and really simple way to do it. It's the best way to do it because it creates less issues with shorting, having to pulse it to get the wick actually set up so that it actually will fire, less hot spots on it. It just runs a lot better. It acts more like a sponge when you're using Ekowool. Ekowool will look like that. It's called 3mm Ekowool. Other name for it is 3SN. That's the one that you want to look for. That's the Ekowool that you use for the stainless steel mesh, and the insert comes out of the center. I'll show you all that when we get to the part where I'll tear it all down and put it together again within a few minutes. Okay, so on the tear down of the Kraken, it's pretty basic. I mean, it's just Phillip head screws. That's pretty much all that's on here. I don't got a good self-focusing camera on here, so I'm just doing the best I got. Basically, what you want to do is just take the wires off. Take that one off. Unscrew that wire. Basically, pull this out. What I can do, so I don't have to do this completely, is usually what you want to do is take a sheet of mesh, about a little smaller than that. That's about all you'll need. And you make one, nice piece of wick. This wick, the wicks, even though they run for a while, they last for quite a while. But this is 325. I remember that, and I didn't like it. What I want to do is take your wick. And what you want to do is get it started at least. Basically, just like rolling an old school cigarette or other fun things that people use. Basically, what you want to do is roll it. Now that I got liquid on my hand, it makes a little bit more of a challenge, but it'll work. You just keep rolling it back and forth. You don't have to worry about running a paper clip through it or nothing like that. The reason why is because it'll create its own hole in the center of it. It's not really solid, so there's still a center to it. Basically, you can take a piece of wire and actually run it through the center, and it's not going to make any difference. It only takes a few minutes to do this. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, and I can sit here and talk and do this, and I ain't think about doing this anymore. Basically, what you want is a nice, decent wick. Even, uniform. You don't want it all bunchy or wavy. Basically, what your wick will look like is that after a couple of seconds. That's a couple of minutes of just messing with it. I mean, that's basically all I got to do. The next step in this we'll be taking. I've got to get this the rest of the way. Now, the next step to this is to make sure it fits in the hole. You don't want it tight in your hole. If it goes tight in the wick hole, it will actually start choking itself off. It can cause shorts on the edges of it. It doesn't let the wick to actually perform like it's supposed to. What I have in here, I actually got to take out because it stinks. I know it's in here and I don't like it. It's a bad juice. I don't like it right now. Kind of getting tired of it. So I'm going to drain that tank real quick. And basically then what you want to do is make sure that this is going to fit in the hole and it's not going to be tight. See, you got to have it loose. It's got to be able to just drop. That's all you want to do is just be able to get it started, and it should just drop. Once it drops down, you're good to go. The next step to this is a lot of people suggest to actually take your torch, and let's have a torch. And what you can do is torch the Ekowool, which will prevent the fraying and of the wicks actually splitting apart when you cut it. You're not going to be using much, so it ain't going to take much to do this. So what you do is just torch it. Get it nice and hot and almost to the point of red. You don't want to go too far and too long on it. You don't want to overheat it because it'll actually come way too stiff. Then it'll actually prevent you from cutting it, and it'll actually start breaking apart almost. So there's a fine line between torching and actually overcooking it. Basically then what you want to do is cut it off. What you'll have is a little center of Ekowool. That's all you really need. What you want to do is take a syringe or something else handy near you. Let's see what I got. I'm running out of things now. let's see here. What I can do is just take a screwdriver and shove it through the center of it. And what will happen is the center will actually come out of it, and you pull the center out. The next step to that is you want to actually put the center stainless steel mesh in through the center of it. And there's actually an easy way to do it and a hard way to do it. The easy way is going the way the wick is actually rolled. If you try to go against it, it'll actually start catching the threads and you'll never get it in. It'll start bunching up. So that will be actually basically on it right now. I still like to actually cut an angle to my wick on the bottom, just for the simple fact that it works better that way. That way, if it ever touches the base of the bottom, it'll actually never like suction itself down to the bottom and you won't be able to get a draw. I prefer a short wick. I prefer it to be sitting about halfway in the side of the tank. I don't like it all the way to the bottom because it just seems like it doesn't perform as well. Usually I have it raised up a little bit higher. The next step to this will be actually to actually take a little piece of camphor. I got 28 gauge right here. If you do these enough times, you'll learn about what your ohms are and how they'll actually perform. I've just learned that 4 wraps will give you 1 ohm on 28 gauge, doing this every time. So then basically what you want to do is get as close to the bottom as you can. And don't touch the stainless steel mesh, and go 4 times. I didn't torch the stainless steel mesh. You don't have to torch it. You can torch it before you do everything else. That's 4 turns right there. That's all you need. That'll give you a really good wick. That'll be about, I'll say it's going to be probably 0.8 to almost 1 ohm. Every time it's going to be like that. Every time. It'll never fail for me. What you do is when you put it on there, you want this screw in the front. You want the wire to go in the front of it so you don't get a hot leg. So that way, when you get done, what you might have to do is take a screwdriver, because the Ekowool sometimes will get in the way of things. So then what you want to do is shove that through. Make sure that's nice and tight around the screw, because you want as much as possible touching that screw so it does not come loose. That's the catch on this. You don't want them wires coming loose. The reason why you do that on the bottom doing this way is that way when you tighten it up, the wire will actually, when you go this way, the wire will actually start tightening up. Now, when you get that on there, which I did not do because it's starting to slide on me again, I always have an issue on that one. If you have to, grab some tweezers. Grab anything you need to tighten it down. Once you get that done, just tighten it down. And then that won't move anywhere. That's where you want it. Now that you got the wire in place, what you're going to do is stretch it out away from the positive post right now. Now, on your normal mesh, you will go this way around it so it doesn't over tighten the screw, which means you would go on this side of it and tighten it down. But with these, it doesn't really matter if you pull it too close. As long as it's not touching the pole, you're fine. I generally like going the opposite direction and going with the screw on the top also, just for a simple fact that way the wire gets nice and snug and nice and close to it. I don't have no lead to it. Now, once that's done and said, basically you'll look at your wick and you'll see where it's sitting, and my wick is sitting pretty far down there. I mean, it's really far in there where I don't like it. So what I can do is actually pull it up to where I like it. And that's about where I like it. I like it right about there in the center almost. With that extra part right on the top, what you can do is basically take a pair of scissors, cut it off. I mean, that's how easy this stuff will do, if you have a good, decent pair of scissors. Cut the top wire off, or you can wiggle it, whichever you prefer. I prefer just cutting it off. Take the bottom wire, cut that off. Bam, done. Now, with the Kraken, it's a little different style. It actually has a, I have to clean this off as clean as I can on the bottom. Now, once that's done and said, basically what you're going to do is take your liquid and fill this up. And I mean, I can fire it right now and it'll be solid red. I mean, I won't have a problem. There's not going to be a short on this. So, basically I'm going to fill this needle up, get that ready. And basically what I can do is fire it just like it is. It'll be just red, see? Every time it turns red. I mean, it's red, right off the bat. I mean, that's no shorts, no nothing, just the way you like them. You can fix them if you want to, you can leave them if you want to, you can do whatever you want. I mean, if you're that picky about where the wires got to sit, then you can fix it. But every time it's going to be perfect red. I mean, I got 4 wraps on there, it'll be about 1.1 ohm probably. Basically, then what you do is take your needle, inject your liquid. I mean, that's why I love running the Ekowool on it. It's just such an easier way to set things up. Once that's up and running, I mean, that'll be just the way I like it. And that's basically it. Once you get done. I hope that helps a lot. So, as you just seen, I just built this up, you know, on my little build. Performs really well. I didn't have to adjust no wires, no nothing. I mean, I got it running probably 1 ohm. I didn't even check it. I don't have to check it because I'm not concerned. Like I said, that'll hit almost 1 ohm every time. I've never had 4 wraps run below 1 ohm unless I use the wrong wire. So, that's how you build a 1 ohm coil with Ekowool. Spot on every time.